And we're off.
Okay, we're rolling.
We're good.
All right,
Yeah.
let's get into it.
A little bit delay getting that audio corrected,
Yeah.
But what do you want to talk about this
Audio's
week?
the worst. I don't know, man. There's a lot going on. What about do you happen to see the cam release of the Pelosi attack? Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
No, didn't get a chance to watch it yet.
She was attacked?
Paul Pelosi.
Oh.
Remember the hammer attack when he got smoked on the melon with the hammer?
I actually had forgotten all about it.
Yeah,
Their new footage?
They released it, the body cam footage.
Did they?
Yeah. It's weird though. It's just, I don't know, man. A lot of it doesn't really make sense. They released the audio, the 911 call.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the YouTubers are already putting portions of it out there, so it's all over the place.
Who is?
Tim Pool had it on his show earlier today, and there's some other YouTubers that were, it might have been Richland, maybe might have been one of them that had it.
Is that all those 43 seconds? That sound about right?
Yeah, I think that was all of it that was in the
Once you meet with a TurboTax expert
in the body cam footage. Plus they released the 911 call, which is just, it's really confusing. A lot of people are saying like,
Who's who? Oh, so that...
yeah, you see, but he's got his hand on the hammer too, and then you see him swing it, but it doesn't.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. But he had like,
is that all it is? Is just this little piece?
And then they rush in. It does show him go to the ground. It shows Paul laying on the ground, and one of them, and the cops wrestling.
Oh God, he did go.
Yeah, he's pretty hard. So
is there?
But like there's I thought I seen one that had a little bit more to it, where it showed the cops rush in and take him down. But
so what do you think?
Oh, I don't know. It's you know what? Okay, I'll probably shock you on this one a little bit. Will probably surprise you. A lot of the conspiracy theories, right? Tinfoil hat wears, he was a sex slave by the Pelosi's and all this crap. Honestly, I don't know if it was a drug deal or if the guy legitimately broke in the house. Tim Pool reported on his channel that there was the broken window in the back, but there was glass on the inside and outside of the house. So did it get broke in an altercation between them two? Did he let him in? I think Paul Pelosi was drunk.
Okay.
And when he called 911, it's, for anyone listening to us, Google the 911 call, and it's all over the place. You can listen to it. To me, it sounded like he was talking in code, trying to not upset this guy.
Oh.
To me, it sounded like the guy probably was wanting Nancy Pelosi, and Paul was probably drunk, but trying to talk incognito to the 911 operator without triggering this guy worse.
Really?
And when the police opened the door, you could see Paul Pelosi has one hand on the hammer, and he's got like a drink in the other hand.
Yeah, I just.
And they were like, "Well, who opened the door then?" It's just kind of weird. Like I don't know. But to me, it seemed like maybe he was holding the hammer down, trying to calm the guy. Like, no, don't go swinging the hammer because the cops will shoot you. Or, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to
we'll listen to the 911
Paul
call.
Pelosi.
San Francisco Police 74 2022.
Oh, I guess I told him. What is it?
This is San Francisco Police. Do you need help?
Oh, well, there's a gentleman here just waiting for my wife to come back. Nancy Pelosi.
223.
He's just waiting for her to come back. She's not going to be here for a day, so I guess we'll have to wait.
Okay, do you need police, fire, or medical for anything? 8 seconds.
I don't think so.
223 and 8 seconds.
Is the Capitol Police around?
0220. No, this
They
is San
usually
Francisco.
protect my wife. They're usually here at the house protecting my wife.
No, this is San Francisco Police. Friday.
I understand.
2022.
Okay, well,
24
and what do you think?
15 seconds.
He thinks everything's good. I got a problem, but he thinks everything's good.
Okay. I was back to change your mind.
No. This gentleman just came into the house, and he wants to wait here for my wife to come home. And so, anyway, he told me to put the phone.
Do you know who the person is?
No, I don't know who he is. He has this. He's telling me not to do anything.
What is your address, sir?
2640 Broadway.
0225 and 0. What is your name? Seconds.
My name is Paul Pelosi.
Friday.
Anyway, this gentleman said that, he makes everything goes, he tells me to put the phone down and do what he said.
18 seconds.
Okay?
Okay, what's the gentleman's name?
I don't know. What's that? My name's David. The name is David.
Okay, who is David?
I don't know. What's that? I'm a friend of theirs. Yeah, he says he's a friend, but as I said, I don't know.
But you don't know who he is?
No, ma'am.
8 seconds. Okay.
He's telling me I'm being very lazy, so I gotta stop talking to you, okay?
25 and... Okay, you sure I can stay on the phone with you just to make sure everything's okay?
No, he must make a hell off the phone.
0220.
Okay?
Okay. And 08.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Now, to me, all of that, there was some key points in there where he kept bringing up Nancy Pelosi and the Capitol Police, because I think he was trying to tell them, like, look, man.
Right.
And he said, well, the guy's in the house, but she ain't gonna be home for a day, so I guess we'll just wait. It sounded like he was trying to tip off the 911 operator all the pertinent info that she needed. There was halfway through the call, she's like, all right, well, just call us back if you need us. And I'm like, are you kidding? You didn't catch what he's saying? Like, there's a guy that broke in the house that's waiting for his wife who's protected by Capitol PD. Like, you need to send some police officers over there. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's really, really weird. But I think he was really trying to talk in code to get help.
Oh yeah.
To me, that's what it seemed like
to me. It's
not
weird.
just some drunk rambler like some people were saying. Like, well, you know, he said they were friends. No, that David said that they were friends.
Yeah.
He said blatantly, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he says we're friends, so we're friends. No, he's telling me, guy. To me, it just seemed like the whole thing, he was trying to give him information, but keep that guy calm.
Yeah.
I think he was scared.
It's weird though. It's almost like the guy could hear the 911
Yeah, I think he could. Yeah, because they said, well, who is he? And the guy's like, I'm David.
Yeah.
My name's David. So he absolutely was listening in, and I think that's why he was measured how he was answering the 911 operator, and he couldn't quite answer questions directly because the guy's standing right next to him listening.
So he acted like he was calling someone else.
I think, to me, what it seemed like is like the guy's like, where's your wife? And he's like, well, she's gone. Well, get her home. Well, okay, I can call the Capitol Police because they protect her and they'll bring her home. And then he called 911, and that's why he's like, well, are you the Capitol Police? And they're like, no, it's San Francisco PD or whatever it was. And
see, this is where things get slippery.
Yeah, it's
right?
weird,
Because
man.
what we heard leading up to this is completely different than what that 911 call makes it sound like.
Yeah, it's a lot different than the narrative that we've been hearing for a while. So I don't know. But I'll tell you, as much as it pains me to do it, because, you know, I'm a super fan of the Pelosi's. I don't think all these conspiracy theories, I think these people are full of shit. They're just trying to make them look bad. You know, they're trying to make him look like, you know, he's in some gay sex relationship with this male prostitute.
Drug deal.
Maybe it was a drug deal. You know, maybe he let him in the house and then he told him to leave and the guy left and then broke the window and came back in. or there was a little struggle over some money or dope or something, and the window got broke. It's possible.
Yeah.
There's probably more to this than we know, obviously, but I don't think it is. If anything, it's probably a drug deal. That, you know, he was drunk. He called the guy, "Hey, come on over, bring me some dope, you know, fentanyl or some shit." And the guy was weirded out, but the guy, you know, he says, "Hey, he's here for my wife."
Yeah.
He said he's gonna wait. So I mean,
weird.
yeah. So maybe the guy's just seriously crazy and broke in the house, and you know, which is weird because the guy's liberal by all measure that they could find. You know, he's living in a van with the gay pride trans flag with marijuana plants on it and like BLM stickers all over his van, and his son had even come out in the media and said, "No, my dad's not conservative at all. You know, he's left leaning." So the whole thing's weird.
Which
You know what I did learn today that I didn't know though?
what's that?
Which I guess was probably out there in the media, but no one talked about it. But after this hammer attack, Nancy Pelosi had a Catholic priest come in and bless a home and do an exorcism in there. Like, what? Maybe they think, you know, I don't know. Maybe they were all in there worshiping the devil, and then the guy's like got possessed by some demon and said, you know, I'm gonna kill your wife. Call her and get her home. You know, who knows? But like some of the questions they were asking, you know, why is Paul's hand on the hammer also? Because you can see that Dave guy has two hands on the hammer, and then Paul's got one hand on the hammer. But I think what he was doing was he was holding it down.
That's what it looked like to me, too.
To me, that's what it looked like. You know, like whoa, don't just be calm. Let's, you know. And he didn't expect that guy to break the hammer free and hit him. And it was fast and violent.
Yeah.
Like, it was instant. So
it looked like he was trying to hit him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was upset because the cops showed up or...
Right.
I was trying to find it. I had heard the same thing that you had said about where this guy lived, but I was trying to find...
trying to find a picture of his
man. It just keeps wanting to show me pictures of the Pelosi's house.
It was all over the place for a little while. So I think that there'd be images all over about it. There's a big surprise. Suppressing it. You know, we don't want to show that off.
Yeah.
So Black Rifle Coffee, man, come on, look at that. We got your merch, man. Send us some stuff. Give us a sponsor.
Right.
I have no shame. I'll ask for it. I love their coffee. I do drink their coffee.
The odds of anybody from Black Rifle Coffee seeing this podcast, I'm sure, are pretty slim.
Right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing's really weird. I don't know. But I'm going to kind of defend Paul Pelosi on this one, as much as it hurts to do that. I think he was just trying to talk incognito to the police and tip them off to what was going on, and keep this guy calm from flipping his shit.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah,
I didn't see anything there where they looked like they were just buddies hanging out.
Right. The weird thing is the door opening. In the video, you see the door open, and it's almost like they're further in the room, and he's got his hand on the hammer. I don't know. Maybe he flipped it open, and he took a couple steps back, and then put his hand on the hammer. I don't know. But, you know, body cam footage is kind of hard to decipher sometimes, but it's just weird. And then the whole thing with, you know, them bringing Catholic priests in afterwards, like...
Yeah, that was really weird, man. What were they, like, you know, sacrificing a puppy in the backyard or something to Moloch, and I got overcome by evil spirits, or what? Well, I wonder if that's it right there.
That looks, yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. You can see the flag from the other side.
Yeah,
on the house, you can see the BLM.
That's straight on.
The guy's obviously not a MAGA guy, you know, which I don't know.
Well,
you could. put one of those pictures on the stream for us, we should be able to use them. They're in the public domain, so then the viewers can see what we're looking at. But
yeah, I'll read up here in a second. I was just trying to see if there was anything.
that's a good one right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, he obviously is not some Trump supporter, and like the narrative was right in the beginning, MAGA guys are, trying to attack the Pelosi's, and that's not true.
No.
This guy's obviously liberal, left leaning.
Well, definitely by some. Whoops. We'll get a little sneak peek there. Gee. There, that's what I was going for. Whoops. Oh, yeah, a little sneak peek of the new guest chair in the corner there.
Sneak peek of our opening for some guest appearances.
Yeah.
We'll start filling that up here shortly.
So, what else?
I don't know, man.
You didn't want to talk about Atlanta?
I just wanted to see if you were going to get into that one, man. I thought that's
what you were going to start with.
So, go ahead. Let's go. Let's go for it.
I have not had enough time to really even get into it.
I didn't see how bad the writing was.
Neither have I.
I knew it was kicking off, and it surprised me because it's winter, it's cold,
but not as cold down there as it is here, so.
But I did expect, okay, so.
Well, you got a couple of things going on there, right?
Right.
You have someone that died, right?
Yeah.
And then you have whatever's going on there with the.
Yeah, I think.
Whether it's Antifa, whatever that is going on there with the police training center. And
they're protesting it in the woods, or are they?
There's something going on.
Yeah, they're a lot more violent than just protesters,
Right.
And then they firebomb a truck, some guy driving through there that lived in the neighborhood, and then they flipped it over, and they almost killed this guy for no reason. So that's terrorism, right?
Yeah.
They're starting to arrest them and charge them with terrorism.
These are the ones that they arrested.
Yeah, those are the ones that they arrested.
Right. Now this is different than the
beat down.
Right. What happened with the body cam footage that was released Friday night? Yeah. I seen clips of it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
No,
did you watch it?
I did not watch it. I read a breakdown of it. And it looks bad. It sounds bad. So the rumor I heard, right? There's always rumors. So here, I'll put the tinfoil hat on for a moment. Is that this guy was sleeping with one of the wives of the cop, and this was like personal. It's out there, you punch in, you can find the story. One of the YouTubers I was watching punched it in and found it right away in a Google search. That was one of the one of the rumors already, right? So was it personal? I don't know. 5 black cops beat the hell out of this guy and killed him.
Yeah. It's not,
and they were arrested. So I mean,
it's not good.
It looks like justice is being served. So far.
I mean, just because you
come to TurboTax, and
I still have a problem with the fact that it happened.
Do your taxes.
Sure. I don't know that.
Meet with an expert who will do.
We arrested him. We're going to convict him.
Man.
Well, that's fine, but it still doesn't fix the problem. Why is this continuing to happen over and over? This is where I have a problem.
Well, I don't know that it happens over and over. It happens. It shouldn't happen at all. These are supposed to be professionals, right? That and public servants, so they shouldn't be doing this at all. But a lot of the times when we do get these stories that this is being done, and me and you have debated this. Yeah, I mean, it was sad. He was crying for his mom, while this guy's wailing on him and shit.
This is what I don't understand is why do these keep happening in big liberal cities
Right.
This is 5 black police officers.
Yeah.
Why do these things continue to happen in big liberal cities?
Right.
This isn't, as far as I know, this isn't happening in rural, whatever.
No,
name the Midwestern state, Nebraska,
You're not
or
finding any media reports about it.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where did Rodney King happen?
Yeah.
Where did George Floyd happen?
Right.
Where did this happen? Where did?
But a lot of times when you see these stories, they're
But what I'm saying,
you got to be careful how you say this, because I don't want to like crush anybody, but man, a lot of these guys are resisting arrest. They're fighting with the police. If you get pulled over, and I know there's a line where civil disobedience might be called for, but you're getting pulled over in a traffic violation. You yourself, I know you're not going to get out of the cop car or out of your car and refuse to get in the cop car, start wrestling around with the police, trying to get his taser or take his gun.
Did you see?
And you see a lot of that happens, and then the guy gets killed, and then everyone wants to bitch that he was murdered, and it's like, well, no, that's different. Now, this one was bad. And I read the breakdown of it, and it sounds terrible. Like, these guys he wasn't resisting. He had his hands behind his back, and they just beat him to death. Like, those guys should go to jail forever. And there does need to be reform. I agree with you. Like, I'm not a back the blue guy, but I'm trying to be fair about it too. Like, man, you take a taser from a cop and try to shoot him with it. What the hell do you expect to happen? There's just some personal responsibility that I think, man, we're flipping it today,
well, that's separate. That's a separate issue
Right.
from, okay, you might, I know the one you're talking about, and you look at that and you say, well, but I'm talking about these cases where the people are unarmed,
right,
and killed. We watched the one time from Michigan.
from Flint. I think it was in Flint, Michigan.
Let me look it up again. Wasn't a Michigan State cop punched that guy right in the face, like broke his nose? He was handcuffed just because he wouldn't get in the car.
Yeah.
Handcuffed behind his back.
Right. Now that.
And I watched the Michigan State Police. Somebody high in the Michigan State Police, whoever, I don't know how the ranking works.
Right.
But he said, this stuff wouldn't be tolerated here, and they take extra measures to make sure. And I'm like, are you
Right.
kidding me? I just watched a Michigan State cop punch a black guy had his hands behind his back, handcuffed, because he wouldn't sit down in the car. Clocked him and knocked him down.
I think a lot of police are just.
But this
language alert. I think a lot of these cops are dicks, and they're just authoritative. Their egos are blown up with power. They've militarized the police. They're all, you just watch the way they walk around anymore. They're assholes, man. They're not public servants. They're not.
Yeah, right here it is. You and
I.
This is 2022.
Yeah, you could.
This is a year ago, and how many people even seen this video?
Yeah. Well, share it so that people can.
Nothing.
Because it was
Here's
terrible.
something. As an Expedia member, you can save up to 30%
when you got
on
someone
your
that is
hotel
handcuffed,
so you can have a bit more money
and
to do.
was he listening? Not exactly, but was he fighting you? Yeah, he wasn't really a threat to you. Why are you just gonna?
Young man, just have a seat. In the car. Everything's on camera. In the car. I know. Sit in the car, please. In the car, please. Have a seat in the car, please. Sit in the car, man. Have a seat. I'm going to. But you're not doing it, though.
Look at that. Are you serious?
Right.
Starter rig.
But again, when you know that this stuff is happening, why would you even, why not just get in the car, man? Don't just get in the car. Depending on what you're pulled over for, you know what I mean? If it's just fraudulent bullshit, like, I could understand you resisting, like, I didn't do nothing wrong. They're just gonna walk up into your house and take you out. Yeah. Frick that. No. But like the one we watched last week with it's the cousin of one of the people from BLM, and you know, he was on drugs, got in a car accident, fled the scene, tried to carjack someone. The cop, again, you seen the cop, nice as could be, just trying to keep the guy to just sit down. The guy's freaking out. He gets up, he's running through traffic. You know, they tackle him. He won't comply. They tase him a couple of times. 4 hours later, he dies in the hospital, and somehow it's the police that murdered him. I mean, at some point, come on, man. Not that I want to defend the police, because I'm not a fan. I think the cops, they're militarized now. They view us as their subjects for them to put their boots on our necks. You know, there's hundreds of stories of these cops coming in people's homes and like shooting their people's dogs because it barked at them. Like, you're in their house. Of course the dog's going to bark at you. I hate the way they act. And there definitely needs to be reform and better training, a different mentality. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if some of these people wash out of the military, I read, and like they couldn't quite make it in the military, so that, you know, they try to like make it in the police departments, but it's also a really dangerous job. And right now, the scrutiny that you're under when you pull someone over, and you know everyone's got a goddamn cell phone out and they're recording you, and you know, how can you even do your job? And you're trying, and every little move you make, you know, you could spark a riot or whatnot, and then the guy wants to wrestle around with you and try to take your gun. Like, what do you expect to happen? You know, I'm not, look, if I get pulled over and the cop's like, hey, you know what, fat guy, get out of the car, I'm just going to comply. And you know what, I'll get a lawyer, I'll figure it out later. Now, if they try to, like I said, there's lines where maybe some of that pushback is warranted, but when it's basic shit like that, yeah, don't wrestle with the cops. You know, I don't want to get shot over a speeding ticket, even if it was bullshit. You know, the cop that pulled me over 2 years ago gave me a speeding ticket. It was crap. He didn't, you know, but whatever. I paid it, you know. My son, trespassing, you know, wasn't trespassing, had the law on his side, had the law on his side, and the judge was pissed off because he was fighting the ticket and increased the fine on him. Like, completely burned him. When the other people that were involved in it all had their charges dropped down and just paid a little fee. And they burned my son for it, you know, because he got in front of the wrong judge, and the wrong judge like, I don't care. You know, you're going to pay the fine, and now we're going to increase it, punish you for, you know, even fighting the ticket. So I hate that shit, but I mean... Did you see that, I don't know who the official was, police chief, someone down there in Atlanta said that after reviewing the tape that the pullover of that guy wasn't even warranted. Right. They said reckless driving or something, and I guess he had said like, it wasn't even warranted to pull him over in the first place. And that's, I mean, these cops are dirty. They're just, you know, a lot of them are just, they're dicks. They pull you over, again, they make them. I'm not going to say here and say a cab, right? Like all cops are, okay, I mean, I'm not that ignorant. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say shit like that because I think it's ridiculous. But at the same time, you know, like, these good cops need to call these bad cops out. I think the problem now is a lot of them quit. You know, well, and what did we watch that one video where the female cop, like the cop was like getting way aggressive with the guy, and she grabbed him and he grabbed her by the throat, choked his partner out, like threw her into the car, you know, like roid raging, you know what I mean? Like, that should never be allowed, man. I don't know what's going on. Really need some serious training and behavior. Because, it's just getting worse and worse. And honestly, I think it's just the mentality of this is what happens when you militarize these people. You know, when back in the day, we were taught, you know what, if you have a problem, you go find, and we'd have an assembly, and they'd show on the projector screen, they'd show an image of a cop, and he's in a uniform, and he's smiling, and he's got his hand out, and it's like, if you are ever in trouble, go find this guy. He's going to help you. You know what I mean? He was a servant of the public. He was part of your community. He was a friend, you know? Now they're all, look at, man, those people on January 6th, and, you know, you got SWAT knocking doors down, flashbangs, coming through the window on ropes and putting ARs to grandma's head and dragging her out at 4:30 in the morning. Really? When you could have called her and said, look, you're going to face charges. We need you to come down to the station. She would have come down there willingly.
Is that a fact, or is that a gross exaggeration?
Some of it's gross exaggeration, but yeah, they did actually like raid these houses early in the morning, dressed in paramilitary gear, breaking down doors. That shit's factual, you know. Now, and pulling some of these people that did nothing but take a selfie in the Capitol, right? They were, even worst case, they were trespassing, and you're gonna treat them like, you know, there's some great drug lord, you know, some drug cartel leader that, you know, you got to like destroy the house and yank them out. Like, come on, man. So yeah, I agree with you. We're in agreement on that. Like, there's something wrong with the police force. There's something wrong with all law enforcement right now. The FBI, the ATF. Come on, man. The ATF's just making up rules because they want them.
Yeah, I'd heard that it's not even
a law.
Yeah, like Congress has to pass that law. Like the ATF just can't make laws up. They can only enforce laws that Congress creates and passes.
But they just made one up. Well, CDC was making them up during the you know, time from a couple years ago.
Well, they were advising.
But I'm saying you started to see like government just executive orders. Everyone just started making mayors making up rules that weren't laws. I mean, our governor here did that a few times that were like, that's not a law. You can't just make shit up. And they were, and people took it a lot.
I heard someone talking about the Michigan plot, you know, and we had kind of taken an agreement, you know, like, you know, well, if you're stupid enough to go along with this. But then I had heard an argument against it, like, and then, you know, again, you know, my opinion kind of varies, right, as I hear different sides and kind of changes as I go. And they were like, at what point? So if these are just a couple guys, and then like these 12 guys get together and say, hey, you want to come hang out, and you're hanging out and you're drinking beer and shit and partying, whatever, you know, shooting guns, whatever, hanging out. And then after a year of this, they start putting a plan together and they create the whole thing and kind of convince you to go along with it. When is it not okay anymore? Right. When is it? Would this person have done it on their own, or did they only do it to be part of this group?
I don't think any of them people would have done it on their own.
That's a good.
I don't believe that at all. I think they were persuaded heavily by the FBI. We know that the majority of the people were either undercover agents or informants. And yeah, I would agree with that.
I hadn't looked at it from that angle before, though. You know, would these guys have done any of this on their own if it wasn't for somebody putting this whole plan together, convincing them, hey, let's go do this because we're all friends here. We're all part of the same group. So take a ride with us, right?
Yeah. That's completely.
And what's even more messed up is, do we have any audio files? Like, so they went for a ride, right? And how do we know?
Now you're going to make the point that I thought of after we addressed that in the show.
Like you're buying a new house, right?
Yeah.
What if you're an FBI agent and you're like, dude, let's go take a ride. I'm thinking about buying this house.
Right.
And you're like, hey, will you snap a couple pictures as we're driving by? Because I'm driving. I can't, you know, I don't want to be irresponsible. Will you take a couple pictures as we're going by?
Could it be that? Sure.
I don't know. I'm assuming they have audio tapings, but could it be something as simple? You know what I'm saying? That's how slippery this could get, right?
I'm not
saying that's what happened here, but I'm saying it could get that slippery.
And I think you can make the argument they definitely were persuaded heavily by the FBI. I don't believe for a millisecond that any of those guys would have done that shit on their own.
Because I started thinking,
the FBI built the damn bomb that they had. Like everything came from the FBI.
I started thinking, like, how much stupid shit did we do in high school because we wanted to hang out with the cool kids, right? But we didn't want to be seen.
No one wants to be left out or look like a pussy, right? For lack of better words. Sorry if there's any children listening.
So I started thinking about that, right? Like,
good point. Good
I don't know.
And you know, the thing I thought about after that podcast, and I was driving home, you know, it's a ride, and I always kind of just digest the show, what we talked about, you know, what we debated, disagreed on, and you know, sometimes you bring up some valid points, and I gotta drive away and think about it, and like, you know, he's right there. So my thought was, yeah, they drove by the house, but whose idea was it? What was it ever really specifically said? Like, we're gonna go look at this house and make a plan that we're gonna abduct her from. Like, is there audio that?
That's what I would like to know.
Because the story that we heard, I said, well, I mean, come on, these guys were planning. They drove by the house. They were trying to make a plan. You put it in action. At that point, you're not talking, right? You're not just fantasizing, playing G.I. Joe, running around the woods and, you know, doing some tactical shooting, training, we call it. But, you know, it's all of us trying to play Army. You put a plan in action at that point.
Right.
And if you were dumb enough to follow, you know what I mean? Like, what do you expect to happen? But do we know that that's really what happened? I don't know that. So I can't come down absolute on this. I gotta be more gray on it because I don't know. So like what you said is absolutely true. When you step back and you start to put this into perspective a little clearer, you know, what really happened?
Right.
I want to hear it myself.
Right. Would these guys have tried to put this plan together on their own? That's what I want to know. Was this 100% the FBI?
I think
that,
so.
You know, they're just hanging out drinking beer and they slowly start introducing this plan?
I think it was absolutely the FBI 100%.
They need to release some, if they have.
I think we have the right to know. How, you know, if the FBI is corrupt, and I believe they are beyond measure, put the facts out. You know, people, we need to know this. You know, we need to know this. The FBI should not be attached to any political wing of any party. They shouldn't be the enforcers of, like, you know, political ideology, and they are. There's, like I said, there's something to do with law enforcement right now, and I, honestly, we had a talk once in one of the podcasts a long time ago about term limits, and you had brought up, well, you know, what happens when you got a guy that you really like, and then you're going to force him out, and my thought was, well, I would rather lose one guy that I like to not have to deal with 40 guys that I hate that are corrupt, to keep that one guy. And also, that one guy, if he stays there too long, is going to end up being a guy I don't like, because power corrupts people. Eventually, it just gets to you. And I don't know that any of us are good enough to be able to have that kind of power and not eventually let it corrupt you. And I wonder if that's part of the problem with law enforcement, is we've given them so much power, so much authority, that it's just corrupted the shit out of the whole mentality of all these guys across the board. Whether it's, you know, the traffic cop that pulls you over, and how many videos are out there of these cops walking up and just start screaming at someone because they were going 5 miles an hour over. You know what I mean? Okay, fine. You're going to be an asshole and give them a ticket. Give them the fucking ticket. Give them the fucking ticket, and then get back in your car and, you know, go flirt with the girl at fucking 7-Eleven, because we all see you fucking cops parked there all the time, you know, at these little convenience stores and gas stations, and they're flirting with some little cashier. Why start screaming at him like there's some hardened criminal that you just pulled over? You know what I mean? Like, so if it's them or it's ATF, like, you know, knocking the front of your house down to arrest grandma, or the FBI, you know, storming the house of one political party but not really on the other, like, this whole system sucks. You know,
and
sorry, I got a little triggered.
I'd seen we had a comment on one of the shorts about guns, gun control, and I was thinking, when I saw this video come out, I'm thinking, this is what they're doing while we still have guns.
Yeah, imagine if you didn't have guns. You would have a boot on your neck. And for all the liberal people that are for this, I'm telling you, you're for it until the boot's on your neck. And it will be.
And I'm surprised
across the board
when I see prominent leaders in these communities coming out talking about disarming people.
Yeah.
while shit like that's
Right.
happening.
Yeah, this is not like I'm telling you it's scary time right now because Republicans are trying to take your guns. They're trying to take your guns. This ain't just Democrats or liberals or, Antifa people. Like, you got prominent conservative people that are absolutely allowing this to happen, not pushing back against it, and in some cases calling for it. So, yeah, the things that are happening to all of our amendments, all of them. It's not even just a Second Amendment issue anymore. It's a First Amendment issue, a Third Amendment, Fourth, Fifth. Pick one, and you can bring it up. We'll read it, and then you can find 12 examples in 4 seconds of how that amendment and right that you have per the Constitution is being trampled on.
I had a discussion with someone, and we were talking about censorship or shadow banning.
Yeah.
And he pretty much told me I was full of it, that stuff doesn't exist. Because he's like, he said, you still have a voice.
Just no one's going to hear it.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but you don't understand. If you're silencing the voices that you don't want to hear, and then you're promoting the messages you want to hear,
right?
That's censorship.
That's censorship.
That's
control. That's not freedom.
Right. That's infringing on that First Amendment right.
Yes, absolutely.
By saying we're going to choose what we're going to promote and lift up, and we're going to suppress and quiet and not allow these other. Yeah, you can still say it. No, like you said, nobody's going to go stand in your front yard and yell.
No one's going to hear it.
Right.
So yeah, I can go.
But we're going to let these other people go to the town square and yell. Yeah. And
it's not even just suppressing, like with YouTube. Look, man, I spend more time on YouTube than probably any human being ever. But truthfully, it's not even that they'll just shadow ban us. We say certain things, they'll outright nuke us. Pull the channel down. How many people on Twitter just got nuked right off of it? Had no voice at all. So this ain't, you still got a voice. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because if you say certain things that you can back up factually now, absolutely have the science is on your side, and boop, you say it, you're gone. You're done.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
And I've even seen Elon, there's an issue going on with Twitter right now where Jeremy from the Quartering got his channel nuked, and I'm not going to get
on
into
Twitter?
it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep, on Twitter. On Twitter.
I know
it really seems very unfair. Like, oh man, I want us to kind of dig into that a little bit so we can debate this, because I said from the get-go, everyone treated Elon Musk like he was the Messiah for conservative people, and I don't know that that's true. I'm still I'm just sitting back watching. Because, I guess maybe it's because social media has burnt us so bad with our ability to just trade information and debate that I'm so untrusting now of all the platforms that there's a boogeyman behind every door in every corner now to me, maybe. But,
was he banned?
Yeah, what I understood was, Twitter blocked him. He can't access his channel now, and it had something to do with that. I can't remember her name, but she was sex trafficked, and there was some spicy images of her that she was in, like a video or something that she had promoted. And when they called her out about it and kind of they showed it, like Elon Musk like nuked them and blocked them, shut their platform down. And it was like, well, I mean, that's not really fair. This stuff's out there, and it was stuff that she had made, and maybe because what it looked like it made, what was her name? Blue, I think. She was just interviewed. She was just on Pool too. And I think Blue is her last name. I want to do a little more research.
Okay. Yeah,
let me do a little more because I want to make sure that
I didn't know anything about this.
Very clear on these facts because God knows I don't want to get us nuked by saying something wrong.
I know of the person. I've had their videos pop up in my suggestion, and I've watched a couple, but I don't follow. I've seen shorts pop up.
I follow Jeremy pretty closely.
Okay.
I like his channel a lot. You know, he's a good guy. Do we agree on everything? No, me and you don't agree on everything.
Because this here sounds like, from what I'm reading here, that, you know, might have been like slander.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. So yeah, we have to do some more.
I want to make sure that I'm factually correct on all of this. But the point being, like, it's not really hard to get your shit shut down.
No.
It's really easy. And all you gotta do is say the wrong word, you know, and they push the button and you know what? Your channel doesn't exist anymore. So this isn't, no one can say, well, you still got a voice. You absolutely do not have a voice. If you have to filter everything you say and be that careful how you say things.
No,
you know, when we're coming up with words, instead of saying murder or dead, you're coming up with terms like unalive or, you know, things like that so that we can trick the robot that's eavesdropping through all this looking for flag words. So we're already fighting the robots, right? It's kind of like the Terminator movie or Matrix or pick one. Never works out good for humans in these movies. So I don't know why we want this, but when you're coming up with terms like unalive or the Fauci ouchie because you can't say the or we're all this
is the weird thing about it, right?
Wrong.
Like, because if again, why the outright bans? Why the shadow bans? Why the blocking?
Right.
Why the down ranking? Why is it not okay if they're wrong? Someone will
fact check it and put the correct information right there.
Well, I even have a problem. I even have a problem with that because we see that now, right? Just because someone says a word, all of a sudden it says, well, you know, what's science? Because you said, you know, the science people 2 years ago were saying, wait a minute, this might not be correct. Ban.
No, I'm not saying.
And then all of a sudden now it's mainstream. Now it's just a mainstream headline and regular.
If you're going to debate it, you know,
I think
they want to put a banner on there that says, "Hey, this could possibly be."
But when did we get to this point that we just can't talk? And if we're talking bullshit,
right?
So what? When did it become dangerous and disinformation?
When AOL and chat rooms went away. And social media took over, and and all of a sudden, slowly but surely, it mutated to this shell of free speech that we have right now.
These are just opinions.
Yeah. Which, you know what? When I was raised, you were allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah.
You know, it was okay to have an opinion. You know, the things that we say now, we've told people, and we do have some new viewers, so I'll mention, look, we are not professionals in anything other than bullshitting. Mm-hmm. We're professionals in bullshitting. This channel, the premise of this channel is to have two normal guys that are just sitting there bouncing ideas back and forth. You guys get to watch us struggle with this shit in real time, unscripted, raw, it's real. You know, one take,
no editing.
Yep. You know,
hit record and let her eat.
And we don't even know where the conversation's going to go. You know, we might have a couple ideas of something we want to talk about because we've seen it in the news, but, you know, we don't know.
Because we both digest very different media sources.
Yes,
too.
Absolutely. And then, you know, you guys get to watch us hammer back and forth and change our minds. We will change our minds throughout this. You'll see it happen, and that's a good thing. You know? That's a good thing. So, you know what? We're not professional political analysts on this. You know, don't take anything I say to the bank. Like, I'm just a guy, man. And I think that there's a hunger for that, right? I think we get so burned out on the same carbon copy shit on social media. Everyone's an expert, right? Everyone says why. And everyone just repeats it. You know what I mean? Like dog whistle, dog whistle, dog whistle. Like every media platform was saying that for a month, you know? Gaslighting, 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 gaslighting. They pick these phrases and they just beat you to death with it. And I think the idea of letting the public just watch two normal people like you guys just kind of bouncing shit back and forth, I think is a good thing. and hopefully more people start doing this. But social media, they changed it from being able to have an opinion and a debate and a conversation. You're not allowed to have anymore. And it's so, like we said before, tribal.
Yeah.
Very tribal. Everyone's on their side of the line, and like the Paul Pelosi thing. You got conservatives right now that come on, they probably know that this wasn't some weird sexual pornographic shit that was going on in this guy's house with this guy. And when you look at the evidence, I don't see anything that even suggests that. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to paint that narrative just to smear them, to make them look bad, because the libs made someone on the right look bad. Remember when they did, what was it, the judge that they had said, they accused him of, or was it a congressman? I don't remember. One of the Republicans, that he had raped somebody, and it was all just bullshit. Mm-hmm. There was no evidence of it at all. Kavanaugh. Yeah. Yep, there you go. Thank you for rescuing me. Threw me that. He's my lifeline. Kavanaugh, they accused him of rape. It was complete bullshit from the beginning. Russia collusion, all right? Well, where's the Russia collusion really coming from? So, I hate it. God, it just, let the information out there. You know what? Let the people out there read it, digest it, and decide what they think is the truth.
Two things I heard in a couple of podcasts this week, and I don't think you listened to them anyways.
Okay.
But what we're on the topic of censorship in social media.
Yeah.
I heard an interesting theory about why TikTok is smeared so bad.
Really?
Yeah. This person laid out a pretty good explanation that
give it to me.
YouTube, Instagram, you see Facebook, Meta layoff deal, like
big time.
Yeah, you look at the number of people laid off and the losses at these social media companies, right?
It was.
And this person said they believed it's these Silicon Valley based social media companies because TikTok is cleaning house.
Right.
They're getting all the views, they're getting all the shares, all the advertising dollars are being driven there.
Wow.
And so it's like this collusion.
Circling the wagons, huh?
Right.
That makes sense.
And I was like, because they're talking about, and the person asked, well, what about their, the policies and terms of service? And they're like, well, read through the terms and service of any of those social media companies. Do you think it's any different than that one?
So do you really believe that TikTok's full of a bunch of Chinese spyware that's just, or was it
According to this person, no.
Right.
That this is
know what? I'll back that up just a little bit, because I shared this with you, and it was neat. I kind of said, wow, there's some truth to this. All of a sudden, YouTube on our channel, man, you put on a short and they're blowing up, like YouTube's promoting the hell out of it, and it's like, I heard they're trying to compete because TikTok's killing them with these shorts. Everybody that they don't want the 2 hour long hashes out. They sometimes just want that 20 minute,
maybe not on
or
YouTube.
20 second.
Right. Not necessarily on YouTube. I think more people digest this content in audio form. You know what I'm saying? 2 hour long conversation.
Spotify,
right. Apple, Amazon.
Now I watch
this
3 hour long.
This is on all those too, by the way.
We're on everything.
You can just listen to us in podcast form. It's out there everywhere.
Yeah, well, jump on Spotify, and
Apple Music, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to it out there. So, anyways, going off that point, so all those advertiser dollars are now being driven to TikTok, right? And now these other companies are trying to tap into that market share, like you said, by promoting even our shorts.
Yeah, our shorts are doing really good.
Yeah.
Speaking of, hey guys, give us a like, please, man. If we're trying, we're working really hard to grow this. Help us out, man. Hit that thumb, ring the bell, share us. Help us grow.
So that was an interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that, and that's where I feel kind of stupid sometimes, because I'm like, my brain goes conspiratorial enough. How didn't it pick up on that?
Yeah.
How was I duped into this? Chinese spyware.
Because I bought it.
We got to ban it everywhere.
I bought it.
And I'm not saying one way or the other. This is new. Something I'm working.
I don't have TikTok on my
this
digital equipment.
This is something new. Okay, I just I'm kind of working through this just in the last day or two, so I'm not sure where I'm going to go on this, but it's all.
I don't know. It's interesting.
It is.
I like it.
It definitely makes me think. Like
I didn't go down that rabbit hole until the only time I ever even entertained that. So I'll tell you, I bought that narrative, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, so did I.
You know, this Chinese spyware, I don't want that shit on my phone.
Yeah.
Until I started, and I shared that thing with you about YouTube promoting the hell out of these shorts, and one of the guy's channels, when he quit doing shorts, all of a sudden he started losing subs left and right. It put a dent in him. It didn't kill his channel, but it put a dent in it. And it was, he quit doing the subs or the shorts, and that's what YouTube wants. And if you're doing shorts, they're going to promote the hell out of you because they're trying to compete with TikTok, which tells you TikTok's, they're hurting them, you know. And everybody I know, I think, outside of us, I think every other person I know in my circle is on TikTok. Yeah. You know, it's popular.
Yeah.
They love shorts. You know, and you can see our shorts how they perform. Yeah. They do great. You know?
There's certain shorts I watch, but I'm not a big short consumer.
I don't like them because even in our shorts I've seen where like some of the comments that we've gotten, and look guys, we appreciate every single comment, even when they're negative. Hey, I appreciate you just taking the time to bring something up to us, right?
You know, the one about the guns,
but they take shit out of context sometimes because they're not really getting the gist of what the conversation really was, and we know this by some of the comments we've gotten where it's like, yes, what you're saying, I can understand why you're saying that, but if you've seen the whole video, so these things they're taken out of context really easy, and that's why I don't like shorts, other than just advertising a conversation that, oh, really? Okay, well, I'm going to go jump on the show now and watch the whole thing because that's interesting.
And that's my point to doing the shorts is hopefully people, to find that engagement, people go, oh, I want to hear more about this, you know, and even if they just go and listen to that part of the conversation, you know, maybe they'll understand what we're talking about more completely.
I think it's hard to really understand the full conversation in a 15-second soundbite or a clip. Yeah. It's just a piece of it. And for us, we're using it just to advertise the channel so that people, you know, if they hear us, they see us, maybe they get curious and they'll jump over and give us a try, you know. Yeah. But that's why I don't like shorts. Personally, because it's really hard to put any context to it, you know. I've watched some of them from Tim Pool's shorts, and this is from a show, the whole show that I had already consumed, so I already had the context of it, and I thought, wow, yeah, that really doesn't do that conversation justice. Like, you really should watch the whole conversation because it was good. It was really, really good, and you don't always get that impression from 10-second soundbite, you know.
I like watching videos. I like watching. I'm more educational when it comes to YouTube. I like watching, you know, if it's archery, I like watching videos on how to perfect my form better, or if it's on health, you know, I like watching a half-hour video or, you know, 15-20 minute video on a new supplement or a new exercise routine or whatever. I don't think the stuff I watch, I don't know. Like I said, I do watch some shorts, but yeah, most of the time I find myself going, well, I need more context there. Like, I'm not watching just people stepping on a ball and falling in their kitchen. Like, it doesn't. If I'm consuming content,
how many of those videos do you see with a cat with the zucchini? Right. You know, you stick the zucchini behind it and the cat sees it and jumps. And, you know, the first time I seen it, funny. Second time I seen it, pretty funny. Third time I'm like, wow, man. And then there was like 20,000 of the videos. Like, just, I don't watch stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just not.
I watch documentaries, you know, timeline, things like that. I want to watch them dig up mummies and, you know, find a new pyramid somewhere, or, you know, dig up some ancient Roman villa that's underneath a farm field that no one knew. They've been, you know, planting crops over this for forever, and there's this whole Roman civilization artifacts of it underneath the ground there. It's just really neat. Yeah, I'm like you. I watch some archery stuff, like, knowledge and I don't know, things with instruction help you be better.
I like life hack videos, right?
Yeah.
How many have I sent you?
Yeah, some good ones.
Repairing a screw
with
hole
some
that's
super glue and a cigarette filter, man. Like, awesome.
Yeah.
Those are some good ones. Yeah. So just the comedy, the goofy, dumb, funny stuff, I don't typically watch myself. No, mine are either political. I digest a ton of political stuff. Yeah.
No, I know there is information on TikTok also.
Yeah.
And I know
I don't really know much about TikTok other than the friends I have that send me their TikTok videos.
It's not all just people dancing and lip syncing to music. There is actual information there in short form.
Like, my ex-wife showed me some that she's made with her and our son that are just, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's just a collage of different photographs of her and him as he's growing up and doing funny things. And I'm like, something like that, that's pretty cool, and you can share it to the family and everyone gets to watch this collage of videos of him, progressing and growing more hair. And it's like, wow, he's changed so much in a couple of years. So things like that, I dig that, But like you said, the stuff of, people standing on a ball and falling on their ass, and I don't watch stuff like that.
But like I said, to be fair, I know there is informative content there. It's just in very short form.
Is it? So is it all shorts? Like, I don't know. I've never really spent any.
From my understanding, it's a minute or less.
Okay.
From my understanding, I don't know. I need to do more research on it also.
I don't know, maybe we need to start TikToking our channel some too, huh?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
It's very interesting.
I looked at it from that angle.
I'm surprised neither one of us really jumped on that right away.
How we missed that.
We're,
that stuff that messes with me over time.
Yeah.
Damn it,
Yeah, I hate missing shit,
How did I miss that one? How didn't I think of that on my own?
Enemy of the State, man, one of my favorite movies ever. Don't look up at the satellite. Man, were they ahead of it. So
yeah, they were way ahead of it. Yeah, we're sure seems like we're headed that direction, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think if there's not some serious resolve, that's where it's gonna go.
Unfortunately, it's like we're right at that tipping point. It seems like we've been right on that
nice edge.
Yeah, for a while now. Like it could go either way, and we're barely holding on to the freedoms we have.
Oh, it's sad. There are people around the world that would just die to have what we got, and we're just rolling over and giving it away for, I don't know. Like, I was watching this video. This new thing here's a new term. It's adults, they're called.
Oh.
And apparently there's toys are getting really hard to find for kids because now they're competing for toys with adults. And it's this new fad of like 40-year-old people sitting on the floor playing with Legos or G.I. Joe, not with children, by themselves, like big fucking kids. Like, I swear to you, that's, sorry about the language, darn it. So like, we collect stuff, right? You got a skateboard board, like the nostalgia of it. Like, I have stuff, like I have some toys that are brand new in a package, never opened, to collect them, right?
Yeah.
And to look at them and remind me of my childhood. I have no problem with that at all. But when you're a 42-year-old guy, like, and you're blowing your extra income on some toys so that you can sit down and play Transformers in the middle of the living room by yourself, that's kind of weird. These are people who are not going to fight for freedoms. They're just not gonna. They're gonna give them away. They don't care. They're distracted. Somehow, and I don't know what entity it was that did it, but something changed the mentality of people in the country. They don't value that. I seen a video that they're going up to young people and asking them, do you think America's great? And almost every one of them said, hell no. No way. You know, a bunch of racist, homophobe, bigot. Pick one. You know.
Yeah.
That's what we are. Like, America did some bad shit. Undeniable. You know, we did. But still a great country. We still did a lot of good in the world, you know. Ooh, come on. You know, like,
yeah.
It's sad.
I think the problem is divide. And that was the other thing I heard on that podcast was all of a sudden the drag queen story hour.
Mm-hmm.
And that person brought up, like, how many of those drag queens are FBI agents?
You know, I would like to know. It would not surprise me.
Is that more of the divide, right? Is that,
it wouldn't surprise me.
So many of these issues, it just seems like someone's intentionally or something, the machine, whatever. Just seems like the divide is just getting so much deeper.
Yeah,
right,
and wider.
And intentional. It's like, well, this is fizzled out. Nobody cares about this anymore, so we got to introduce something new to get people outraged.
I agree with that. I think the divide is on purpose, to divide and conquer. I think when we're busy fighting each other and arguing about a bunch of stupid shit, that, you know, watch the left hand so you don't see what the right hand's doing, right? And I think there's a lot of that's going on. Sure, it wouldn't surprise me if some of them. I never considered that until you said it. But that's a good point. Yeah. You know, wouldn't surprise me. You know, that video, I don't know if you ever had a chance to watch it, the one that I sent you about the Catholic Church and the Pope and stuff. And,
no, I didn't.
Like, there was some rumors leaked that there was pictures of some of these cardinals and stuff dressed in drag, and, like, man, there might be a real nasty thing going on. A little, even the church has its own divide right now, is my point. You know, like, there's a big battle going on behind closed doors in the church, even. So no one is safe from this. Like, it's in everything now. Everything is so hyper polarized. It's crazy. You know, when you got to make up words so that the droid doesn't shut your channel down, or you avoid saying certain words, or, you know, you're supposed to automatically know what someone's goddamn pronoun is now. Like, and half this shit I can't even pronounce right. I don't understand what it means. I'm not a mean person because I didn't use it. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, they'll burn your house down for that shit now. That's how polarized everyone is against each other. I've never seen life this way.
That's because you're non-inclusive and you're a bigot.
Yeah, I guess. I'll take it. You know, all I kept thinking, and I was going to wear the sign in today too. I meant to. I should have. The guy that you see, he's in every movie and he's in every city. It's got to be Jesus, right? Because he's everywhere. And he's got the cardboard sign that says, "Repent, the end is near." Yeah. And everyone made fun of that guy. And I'm telling you, man, that guy, maybe he wasn't so crazy. But I was going to make that sign up and wear it.
Out over there on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. Cardboard sign, "Repent, the end is near." Man.
You need a thick Sharpie for that.
Yeah. maybe Sharpie will sponsor us, huh?
Yeah. I doubt it, but.
So, yeah, it's sad. You know, I want to have a channel where we can debate other channels and people and have all these conversations and just help me be better. Mm-hmm. You know, if I'm wrong about something, show me. I'll accept it and be better for it. You know.
Well, and that's the point I had made with that's why I like the conversation in the comments, right? Mm-hmm. It's not an argument. It's not you're right, I'm right. It's just us exchanging opinions. I hope people out there understand that. Right. And that was the point I'd made to the person that commented. I was like, they had said, well, mass shooting. I'm like, you're right. And the media, the corporate media makes sure that's at the top of every headline and in your face daily, right? But they don't let you know that governments have killed more civilians than unarmed civilians than armed civilians have killed civilians. But nobody has a problem with them having guns.
Right.
Right?
Shouldn't you have a problem with them having the firearm? I mean, they're the ones murdering everybody. Yep.
Or have, right? At some point in history, right?
Or still are, depending on where you live in the world, right. You know?
No, but it's good to have, we should be able to have that exchange.
Yeah.
I'm not upset having the exchange. I'm not mad.
And it's like, you know what, even when you define, you look up the definition of mass shooting, it was what anyone, if 4 people or more is considered a mass shooting. So it's a little bit disingenuous when the media is talking about, well, there was this many mass shootings in 2022, and then when you start stripping off the layers, you find out the vast majority of it was gang violence, you know, drug wars between street gangs where, you know, more than 4 people got shot, mass shooting. When other people hear that, what they're picturing in their head, I'll guarantee, because I did, the majority of people think of someone going into a mall or a hospital or a school or some public building and randomly shooting people. That's mass shooting.
With an AR-15.
With an AR-15, right. Which the majority of this ever done has been done with a handgun, you know, which they swear they're okay with until last week when we heard the term assault pistol.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Now they got assault pistols, a semi-automatic, magazine-fed, extended mag having assault pistol.
I didn't see it.
Man, that's a lot to say, because it was a MAC-10. And for anyone who doesn't know guns, a MAC-10, it's really not a very good pistol. It's very inaccurate. But it looks like an Uzi, you know. It's a 9mm. I believe the MAC-10 looks like an Uzi. You might be able to get it in a other caliber than just 9mm.
I thought they were 10mm.
10mm. They might be 10mm. Actually, maybe the Uzi 9mm and then the MAC-10.
We'll find out. We're gonna fact check right now.
We fact check our own shit. Look at that.
I'm not that versed in. Let's see. Oh, 45 ACP.
Wow, and a 45.
Yeah.
Nice. That's surprising. Anyways, so this is called an assault pistol now. You know, and it's just changing the terminology, these little catchphrases to convince people that these guns are big, black, scary guns, so that when they take them away, the majority of people are okay with it because these are machine guns and stuff like that, and they're not. I honestly, like, I would never carry that gun for self-defense, right? If my life depended on it, that's not the gun I would want. Or was
it is a 9mm and 45 ACP. Yeah,
okay.
You're right.
So you can get them both.
Right there.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so I was half right. You know, you can get it in 9mm or 45 ACP.
Yeah, and MAC is for Military Armament Corporation.
Yep.
That's a model.
And you know what? It's a neat looking gun. Sure, it's a neat looking pistol, but you know what I mean? It's really, I wouldn't own one.
If someone wants to, I don't care.
Right. But me, myself, if I was carrying a firearm for self-defense, that's not what I would carry.
No, I have no desire to
you know,
own.
the reliability of it is just, it's...
See, I learned something.
But now they get to use, you know, a new scary term, right? To try to, you know, convince people. So how long is it before you see a bill put now banning handguns, semi-automatic pistols? You can have a wheel gun, you can have a revolver, a cylinder, you know, fed.
I'm suspicious anytime the government wants to have more firepower than civilians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why is that?
I automatically get suspicious of what their intentions are.
Because, I mean, show me where the civilians are attacking the government constantly.
Right.
I don't see that. You know, I'll tell you, I went down the rabbit hole on a shitty conspiracy about Timothy McVeigh and the Oklahoma City bombing and Terry Nichols and you know, the Michigan militia was all involved in this shit. Remember that? And that there was a lot of FBI agents involved in that too. So
yeah, I'd seen something a while ago, and I
mean, now you got documents come out. People are claiming that the CIA had something to do with the Kennedy assassination and Martin Luther King and, you know, Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols, and man, that conspiracy goes deep.
Yeah. I remember a couple years, it's been more than a couple years, And I wouldn't want to get the facts wrong, obviously. But, man. Well,
again, you know, what's the truth? See, this is the problem, and this is what's wrong when you stifle half of a conversation, when you suppress it. And people cannot have the conversation. They don't trust the information. They just don't trust it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you can't feel confident that you are getting the truth when you know for a fact, even when you're on the winning side of it, and you know, let's say you're a liberal and the social media is on the liberal side and the suppressing conservative voices, you still know that that's happening. At some point, the power switches or flips, or when you get a strike against you, the first thing you're going to go to in your mind is, you know, it's a conspiracy. It leads to this stuff. This is why information should be out in the open, and people should be free to debate it. You should be free to have your own ideas or thoughts or opinions. We're supposed to be free human beings.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually The Guardian 2014.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you...
Wow.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about this on camera right now, because...
Right. I want to do some reading.
Yeah, I heard about this a couple years ago. And this is pretty interesting when you go down this rabbit hole.
So again, you know what I mean? Do you look, when you can't even trust law, and this is where I will give anyone who wants to protest the police, like, I'm for it. Protest away, man. You know, you want to carry signs that say cops suck, you know, quit, get your boot off of our necks. Like, okay, I get that. Don't burn the city down. Don't beat up innocent people. Don't get riot-ish about it, but protest, sure. But no one can trust law enforcement anymore. Any of them.
They're not doing a good job of gaining the support of the community when that stuff happens.
Right.
And they lose more support, right?
From what I read, this guy had his hands behind his back. I don't know if he was already in cuffs or he was just complying, but one of the cops walked up behind him and just started wailing the shit out of this kid. And the kid died crying for his mama. That's terrible, man. That's just terrible.
Yeah, I only seen a small clip of it. I haven't seen the entire... I think I got the audio off. Hopefully it doesn't end up playing through.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Keep it quilted means you keep it the best.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, this is
Layers of
kind of...
plush
They
comfort
like
you
this
can
narrative,
see
right?
and
So...
feel. Keep it quilted because the
Yeah, I don't care whether you're black, you're white, you're Asian, or Latin American, Latino. Like, this shit should not happen to anybody.
No.
At one point, you can hear Nichols screaming for his mom.
And I don't know how much this is going to show. I think
everybody should be against it. Look at him kicking the guy,
I didn't want to
while he's down. Like, come on, man.
And one officer came up with a baton, striking him 3 times in the body.
They're just gang beating this kid, pepper spraying him, kicking him in the head.
Like, at what point don't you have a right to fight back, I guess?
Right.
After the beating,
Yeah,
you can see
I would agree with that.
You know, I mean,
if they're trying to beat you to death,
I know it's not
I
going
would
to
fight back.
I know it's not going to be a popular opinion, but
anyone checked his pulse and breathing. Take a look.
like, if you
As the
thought you were
officers
completely
just standing around, you can see
completely
Nichols fall over
unjust
a couple
what they
of
were doing
times
to you.
with no one helping
I know you, and
him.
I
It was
agree.
about
Like, you should. I mean,
20
it's better just.
Which
later,
I have
when
fought
an
with the
ambulance
cops
finally
before.
showed
You
up
know that.
to take
You know,
him
You're
away.
right.
there was a sheriff that grabbed me, and we squared up. You know,
You're right. It's better to just.
but it's better to just take the ticket if that's what it's about.
I think.
Now, you know, if they're kicking your door down and they're trying to infringe on your Second Amendment and, like, you know, illegal search and seizure, yeah, okay, I get it. Your castle, your home, like, you don't have a warrant, get the fuck off my property. That's what I would tell them. You got a warrant? No? Well, see you, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, but
I think.
for a ticket, I just don't want to get shot or tased over.
I think some people get so fed up with the bullshit. You know, maybe they think that's their only way, like, to I don't know. I think you're better off, like you said, just
especially
take
like
the ticket. Just
if you're black, if you're African American, person of color, whatever they want to be, so I don't offend anybody, right? But you're a black guy and you're afraid that the police are gonna murder you, like straight up. Keep your hands on the wheel. Just comply with the police. That's what I would do.
You don't even have to be black.
You know what I mean?
It's
no. It happens
that
to white people too.
I feel the same way, right?
Right. I pass the cop. The first thing I do is look to see how fast I'm speeding. You already feel anxiety the minute you see a cop car.
When I get pulled over, all my windows go down. Because my back windows are tinted. Right. So I rolled up. So he can't say that he thought he saw something, right?
Yeah,
move.
I thought I seen him go for his gun.
Right. I roll all the windows down. Yeah. Turn on the interior light.
I don't even have to get pulled over to.
And same thing. Like automatically, I'm like, what? How's this gonna go?
Right. I don't trust the police.
And I'm not. Yeah. And I'm not a person of color, but I'm just. Right. I'm that worried when I see shit like this.
So and trust me, it happens to white people.
Yeah, we've seen white people beaten and shot by cops. It doesn't get the media.
No, they just don't
coverage. But it happens.
It happens every day. The one story I kind of referred to was the cops that came in to take over the guy's house because there was a hostage situation going on next door. And they bust in his house, his dog barks, they shoot his dog. He starts arguing and they shoot him with rubber bullets. He's hiding in the corner while they unload a bunch of rubber bullets on him. It's like, really? He was white. Like, this shit should not happen to anybody. No. And whether you're white, black, brown, everybody should be against it. Yeah. I agree 100% with that, man. Like, that video is terrible. Like, those cops should go to prison forever. Forever. You beat this kid to death for nothing. That's murder. You'd send him to prison forever. But I don't want to die over $100 speeding ticket.
Is resisting even justification for killing somebody?
No.
Right.
No, I don't think so. Now, are you going to get beat up a little bit to get you in compliance? Sure. You got to know that. If you wrestle with a cop, he's probably going to get a baton out and, you're going to get some lumps, So there's some balance there. And I don't know, man, I'm struggling with that one. I'll tell you, even watching that video just kind of,
What about the one in Grand Rapids?
Yeah.
We watched that video. That was early on our podcast.
Right.
We watched that one.
Yeah. That was hard to watch, man. Was it a straight up murder? I guess at what point is the police justified for doing that too, right? Because I want good people to be cops, and I don't. I try to look at it, step back and try to look at it through their point of view too. I spent a lot of years in EMS. Yeah. I worked closely with PD. I've made some good friends that are cops, that are good people.
Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say a cop. I'm not going to sit here and say all cops are bad. I'm not.
But they're all under scrutiny right now when they pull someone over, and man, I can't imagine trying to do my job under that amount of stress either. That, you just move the wrong way and you're going to go to jail, lose your job.
Well, I don't know just because they moved the wrong way. I think when it's a gross abuse of power.
No, I've seen these cops get thrown in jail for bullshit to keep the public from burning a city down,
For pulling someone over?
For roughing someone up a little bit, maybe, but definitely within the bounds of what they had the right to do. You brought up George Floyd.
Yeah.
Tell the facts about George Floyd, though. You know what I mean? Like, you made it sound earlier in this podcast like they just murdered George Floyd. Did they? They went to jail for it, but did they? Come on, man. We all know he was hopped up on a speedball. He was resisting arrest. He wanted to go to the ground. There's 9 minutes of footage, and they don't show that. You know what I mean? They don't show all of it. They just show the knee on the neck. But from what I remember when that case was going on was that actually that was part of their protocol to do that. Whether it was right or wrong, that cop was following the rules. And then you had other cops that went to jail that were rookies, that they don't know. You know what I mean? No, me personally, I'd like to think I would have said, "Hey, man, all right, look, maybe get off the guy." Or how about the guy that was in Wendy's parking lot sleeping, passed out, drunk driving, passed out in the drive-thru. The cops show up. They're like, "Hey, man, come on, get out." He starts wrestling with him, grabs the taser, takes off running, reaches over his back to shoot the taser off, and the cop shoots. "Well, you're going to prison. You murdered this guy." Well, really? You know, even that video that you brought up, me and you argued about that pretty bad because this cop was wrestling in the front yard with this guy for quite a while. It wasn't just a couple of seconds and the cop shot him. And was this guy trying to take the gun from the cop? I mean, what would I do? If I'm wrestling around on the ground and I feel like this guy's trying to get my gun away from me, I want to go home and see my wife and kids, you know, like.
I'm tired of that narrative too, whatever it takes to get home to my family. Mm-hmm. Like, you signed up to do a dangerous job.
That doesn't mean you want to die.
It doesn't mean you want to die, but that's part of that job.
Sure.
It's like,
there's an inherent risk to being a police officer, right?
Right. Yeah. So this whole narrative of whatever it takes for me to get home at night, I'm going to do it. Well,
oh, that's not what I said. What I said is I want to go home and see my wife and kids at the end of the day. And they should. If they were a good person, they would want that.
But with the George Floyd thing, I mean, that cop was clearly flexing.
Yeah, was he being an asshole? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he break the law? I don't know. I don't think it's that clear. If he was actually within the bounds of their training, of what they're trained to do, change the training then. Yeah. You don't say he murdered them, you know, because they can't even agree on what George Floyd actually died from. Was it actually from him kneeling on him? Was it his heart stopped because of all the drugs that was in his system? But see, when they put that out there on the media, it was, you know, they're painting murals of this guy like he's Jesus all over these communities. And he was a bad guy. So let's be honest, like, he was doing a lot of bad shit too. He was about ready to drive away off pricked up on narcotics. Now, what happens if the cops pulled him over and said, "You know what, you're right, well, we're not going to mess with you, Joey. You go ahead, get in your car and drive away." And then he ran some kid over, and then everyone would be screaming like, "Those cops should have stopped that guy."
I don't think anybody's saying that they have a right to.
So what are you supposed to do? When the guy's 6'10" and he's, you know, 500, 400 pounds, he's wrestling around. The guy's like a bear, right? That was a big guy. I don't know his exact size, but he was big.
Gross exaggeration.
He was big, and
he was handcuffed though on the ground, laying on his side, saying he couldn't breathe.
He was saying he couldn't breathe before that. They got him out of the car and let him sit down because he said in the car he couldn't breathe. So there was some assistance to him being, you know, he was given some assistance. This
is one we're just gonna have to disagree.
I don't think we're ever gonna agree on that one.
6'4", 223 pounds.
Yeah, big guy, man. Yeah, it's a pretty big guy, and he's hopped up on all that shit. I wouldn't want to wrestle him.
Yeah, I guess I didn't see the part of the video where he was being combative and fighting the police.
Yeah, he wouldn't get in the car. You know, just get in.
I thought he was in the car.
They did, and they let him, and then they got him out. Right. You know, but he was fighting even getting in the car. He was resisting, you know, and I hate to use that word because I know it gets used wrongly too, but I'm just telling you, my opinion is there is some certain part of this that is personal responsibility of just don't fight the cops. The truth is, he was all rigged up on drugs, and he didn't want to go to jail.
You've been drinking before. You know, you've made.
I told you, I squared up with the sheriff, and we were, but I knew, you know, I'm probably going to get tased in this shit. But to me, what was going on was egregious enough it was worth it. I was willing to take that. I wouldn't have cried that I was a victim. To me, it would have been a badge on, hey, look, man, this cop was wrong, and I called him out, and, you know, I got tased for it.
Right.
Stand up! Why are you doing me like this? Stand up!
But again, at the same time,
he's the one with the hands up, don't shoot.
Michael Brown.
You know, didn't they prove that some of that was kind of bullshit too?
Just unlock the door for me.
So I'm just saying, a lot of times when these cops are straight up murdering people, it's someone that's high as fuck on drugs and they're fighting the cops a lot. Not every time. No, this last video, that kid,
I still like.
they just straight up beat him to death. Like I don't see any reason.
I seen how the right wing media pushed this narrative with
You need to take a seat right now.
George Floyd, and I don't like it. I just never seen anything in the video where he was being combative.
I'm not trying to win.
Like I get like, okay, it's high, maybe not the most cooperative, but
He's a big guy, man.
That's fine, but he's still handcuffed, and there's 4 guys there.
Right.
You
so
know
what was the solution?
Well, you get him out, you sit him on the ground, but to put your knee on his neck for 9 minutes, like he's on the ground laying on his side, like he's handcuffed behind his back, he's laying there, like. I have a problem.
That's the way I would have done it myself.
I just have a problem with.
But if that was within the parameters of their training, then you got to change the training.
But
that was within the rules.
But morally,
But
morally, even then you should still go. Does this warrant? Does this warrant this kind? Like
that's hard.
Okay. He's subdued, he's handcuffed. Do I need to sit here for 9 minutes and do this thing?
Right.
Like he's not going anywhere. There's 5 of us here. We got him on the side waiting for the ambulance. Like
we'll have to sit down.
And the fact that even after he went limp.
Yes.
He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah. But do you really believe that cop meant to murder him?
I don't know. This is where I struggle with it, because again, what if I was watching? My wife was watching.
They didn't give him no assistance, so it seemed like after he went down, and they realized, wasn't it after they realized that he was down? I think was what really made him look bad, because they didn't render any aid to him or something for a few minutes. And I mean, that's kind of dirty. Like, you're a cop, you're supposed to know CPR and first aid and shit. Like, someone ain't breathing, man. Start, helping them.
Again, I just have that problem with.
I don't know.
Authority.
This is a really hard, complicated subject, man. Like, because I don't want anyone murdered by the police. Like I said, right now, I'm not a fan of the police. I think they have gotten really bad. And their PR is terrible.
Like, you said, he wasn't a good guy, and they made murals of him. I think they were using him as an image of what they feel money as oppression in their society from unjust policing. It didn't matter whose face it was.
Different, because to me, I seen them paint murals of them and use that to raise a hell of a lot of money and buy mansions all over the place.
But I'm saying at the ground level, I think the people were using that as a voice for them to say,
I don't even know that it was people at the ground level painting the murals though, and saying he was a saint. Like, I can see going out and marching in the street against it, but like, I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard. And I'm sure a lot of comments would be, well, you're not black, you don't understand. That's true. I don't. I can't know what that feels like any more than they can know what it feels like for me to be white. And that's why I said that race shouldn't matter at all anyways, because how many white people have been killed by the police?
Right.
A lot. And they just, you don't see that.
Well, again, that divide, right? It's that divide thing. If they showed it equally from both sides, and then everybody would be unite against
people being treated like they're special because of what color they are, and that's just bullshit. It shouldn't be. We're humans, man. We're all different shapes and sizes and tones and colors, and who cares? Just be people. I'd like to see that someday, maybe.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why we see what we see when these things happen, because they use it as another example of this happening.
And I'm not saying like it's all just, black people and drugs, because I'll tell you what, if the truth was out, if they released all the body cam footage of these cops going and arresting people, I bet you just as many would be toothless ass meth heads in some, hillside in the mountains.
Yeah.
Just, and I was in a trailer park not that long ago, and it was not a good place, man.
Yeah.
There was a lot of nefarious shit going on in there. You could see, a lot of white people are hooked on drugs too.
Yeah, and this is the whole point, to having just conversations, right? So we can just flush these ideas back and forth, and I think it's...
And maybe I did fall for the narrative, the conservative talking points on that. That's possible. You know what? I want to go back and watch a video with you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's been a long time since either one of us have really seen it. Let's watch it again.
Well,
and, maybe I'll change my mind on this.
Again, initially, I bought into those right-wing talking points, right? And it took me a while to really sit back and watch these videos and really not have someone explaining it to me.
Yeah.
Just let me watch the videos.
I like that.
Watch them and watch them and watch it. Watch it from different angles. Listen to what the people on the sidewalk were saying. Listen to what the cop was saying. Listen, you know what I'm saying? Not some talking head. I don't care who it is.
Right.
Nobody on podcast.
I like that.
Just watching it. How does this look to me?
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am.
I'm sure the people in the comments are going to tell me I'm wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Or tell me I'm wrong. Who knows? We'll both probably get. These are one of the. That's kind of a taboo subject. It's sensitive. Even now, that's still sensitive. That the guy that we were talking about earlier, that was related to the Black Lives Matter cousin or whatever, that was running through traffic, and that was one of the things he yelled is, "They're going to George Floyd me! They're going to George Floyd me!"
But if you watch that video again? And this is one thing I picked up on.
Yeah.
The cop was nice in talking. I'll get you a bottle of water. He was nice until backup got there. Then it became authoritative. Get out now. It became very loud, very aggressive.
Once the guy ran, and once he ran into the road and he got on the motorcycle, that's when he started screaming.
Only because the backup arrived.
Is that when backup arrived then?
Huh. And you can see a change in his demeanor. I'm not saying he killed the guy. I'm just saying all of a sudden there was a change in his demeanor when he had backup there.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time I picked up on that either.
Which I could see the pack mentality, right? You know, no one's tough until they got all their buddies with them, right? And then you got to show off a little, and if that's what's happening.
Go back and watch that video again. And
I didn't catch that. I just thought it was once the guy ran into traffic, and I could understand that. Because he could create an accident, hurt innocent people, get himself ran over, I don't know. These are hard subjects, man. Because, if you're not putting the guy down on the ground on his ass, and you kind of are weak, milk toast about it, and the guy runs into traffic, get hit by a car, everyone's gonna scream then, why'd you let that guy go? He should have been alive right now if you'd have done your goddamn job and not let him run into traffic. And sometimes it's almost a lose-lose. I don't know. They're very complicated issues. They're very hard. You could see we're struggling with it. I'm struggling with it for sure. So, I don't know. Good conversation, though.
Yeah. What do you say?
I don't know. Yeah. We can. I think we did over an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Probably seen us wrestle, and we'll probably have a headache from our.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you guys later.